Let's be honest, Tom Brady is going to do bad things to Kansas City.
Tom Brady is going to do bad things to Kansas City.
So that didn't go well. Alright, it's your old pal Dalby back with my week number 2 picks for the NFL. And after this video, make sure that you click in the link down in the description so you can find all of the spreads, all of the lines, and all of the games so you can make your own ticket. Week 1 started rough with a huge shocker by Kansas City beating New England, but the rest of the week went pretty good if you followed my advice, going 2 for 3 on the point spread and 8 for 11 straight up. That said, just like any good NFL team, there's still always room for improvement. On Monday night, Denver ran away from LA, racking up a 24-7 lead. Also on Monday, LA came back, chasing down Denver to within 3, and if it wasn't for a blocked field goal in literally the dying seconds of the game, that would have gone to overtime with a ton of momentum for LA. They were this close to picking up a win. Why is that important for week 2? Because it means they're hungry. And on a short week going from Monday to Sunday, they will not have forgotten that feeling of disappointment, and that's not good news for Jay Cutler and Miami. It's essentially week number 1 still for Miami after their game last week was canceled against Tampa Bay due to Hurricane Irma. What that means is that while all the other teams in the NFL were shaking off the rust and figuring out exactly what they needed to do to make adjustments for week 2, Miami's kind of coming in blind. And that means they haven't had time to see if their defense is any better than the one that ranked in the bottom 4 of the NFL last year in yards allowed. Now you put that up against Phillip Rivers in LA, who put up almost 200 yards passing, another 50 and change on the ground, threw for 3 touchdown passes, and almost beat Denver, and you are looking at a matchup that definitely favors the offense, especially if LA can get Melvin Gordon going on the ground this week, which they couldn't totally do against Denver last week. It's Jay Cutler's first game with Miami in the regular season, so he's got to get that offense going quick, and I just think he's going to be unable to run and gun with a very hungry LA team. The spread has LA giving up 4.5. I would take them on the point spread, which means I'm definitely also taking them straight up at a pro line ticket. In the 2016 NFC title game, Atlanta smoked Green Bay. And with a home opener and a brand new stadium against that same Green Bay team, it would be really easy to make the prediction of a repeat performance. But somewhere between that NFC title game and now, Atlanta became a different team, and you can pinpoint it to one moment when they collapsed in the 4th quarter of last year's Super Bowl. Add in the result from that game and a very weak performance against Chicago, where they were one defensive stand away from losing to a very bad Chicago team. Atlanta is not the world beater that it was last season. And while they'll almost certainly get it back on track, I don't know if they'll be able to do it in time against a Green Bay team that suddenly knows how to play defense. Offense has never been a problem for Green Bay. You've got Aaron Rodgers under center. You've always got a strong ground game and some amazing receivers that can bring the ball down. Rodgers went for over 300 yards last week against a tough Seattle defense. But what might be overlooked is that Green Bay held the 12s without a touchdown last week. That's a marked improvement from Green Bay defenses that we've seen over the last couple of years, and they're gonna need that just to slow down Matty Ice, Julio Jones, and the rest of the weapons that come to play for Atlanta. The odds have Atlanta giving up 2.5 points against the spread on this one, so I'm gonna take a Lambeau combo, go pro line straight up, and taking Green Bay on the point spread. Some quick check down picks for week 2 to fill out your ticket. Carolina kept San Francisco to 3 points last week, and now that defense gets to run wild on Buffalo. Buffalo's got to learn the hard way that games against the New York Green Machine are just for stat padding, and this is a reality check that is going to be devastating. Watch for a defensive touchdown from Carolina, and of course Cam Newton doing what Cam Newton does. They're giving up 7.5 points on the spread in this game to Buffalo, and I'm still taking them on the point spread, so you got to get them on pro line as well. I mentioned earlier that Tampa Bay had their game against Miami canceled, so that means we're going to see Tampa Bay for the first time this season in week 2 as well. But unlike the Miami situation, there's a lot of excitement revolving around Tampa Bay coming into this game. A lot of excitement. Sports outlets like ESPN, Yahoo, Fox, the NFL website are all saying they're really looking forward to seeing what Tampa Bay can do this year with a young offense and a fairly decent defense. Now, I'm not saying we crown them as the next great thing after week number 2, but I'm saying week number 2 they're playing Chicago, and they're playing their former quarterback in Mike Glennon, who has 5 career victories. 5. And also finished a preseason game with a 0.0 passer rating, which is something you really have to work at to be that bad. Tampa's playing at home, and they may have to shake off some of that same rust I talked about with Miami. So they're giving up 7.5 on the spread, and I would avoid that. But if you're looking for a quick pick on a pro line ticket, I like Tampa Bay to help boost your payout. Now, I'm not saying that you should take Chicago on the point spread either if they're getting 7.5, because let's face it, if there's any team that can find a way to blow 7.5 free points, it's Chicago. I'm just saying, for point spread, this is a game to stay away from. And some rapid fire picks if you're playing on pools. Give me Baltimore, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh at home, and I'll take Arizona, New England, and Dallas on the road. And that's week 2 in the NFL, according to me. So who do you got? Leave it in the comments down below. Your lock of the week, your upset of the week. Who do you really like putting your money on this week? We'll compare your picks to mine, and if you're way smarter than me, next week I'll read your stuff in the video. I don't really have to read any specific comments from week number 1 because they were all the same. Oh, thought New England was gonna win this one for sure. Tom Brady's doing bad things to Kansas City. Hey, I was wrong, but so were a lot of people. And now I'm actually pretty excited to watch more Kansas City games this year. So, for those of you who got your chirps in, fair enough, I said it, I eat it, but I really like where we're going with week number 2. Leave your comments down below, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of these videos, and if you need to make your picks, don't forget the link down below with the lines, the spreads, and the game list for Sports Select. I'm Dalby, see you at the next one.